You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me tonight, you may have seen him on LFC as an LFC judge, as one of many fingers of LFC. He knows a little something about controversy, but he also knows a lot about fight promotions and everything coming to fruition. The man behind Made Fight League, the one, the only, Mr. Trap Gambino. How are you, Trap?
How you doing, brother? It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has, but I got to say, first and foremost, it's always a blast catching up with you because, number one, you're always on your grind, and number two, we always see things coming to fruition with you. You always set your mind to it. You're very persistent, and you're very, dare I say, just not only persuasive, but passionate, and it goes along with everything within your presentation. So, Trap, Made Fight League, let's hop right into it, get right into the brass tacks of things, man. Talk about it. It's great to see it coming to fruition, but number two, I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, man. You ever just like got sick of the way things are going and you wanted to, like, you had a fantasy in your mind to create a world of your own? I'm in a position to do that, and I decided to do that. So right now I'm creating somewhat of a cultish following in the MFL, and the MFL stands for Made Fight League, and the premise of Made Fight League is we're sick of fighters not getting paid. Not only not getting paid, but not getting paid in between fights and being taken advantage of by celebrities and influencers and promoters. And there's a whole system that's going on with free fights that's just totally just wrong. And we're trying to get rid of that. And the first step is to start showing these guys that they can be paid. So that's what we're doing. And we developed a system where we can pay these guys monthly, not just by the event. And it's via fan interaction and all kinds of cool stuff like that. Like the fans get to vote and they get to interact with the fighters. They get one-on-one training and stuff like that. It's going to be a whole Discord community. And yeah, it's evolutionary, especially over here in Las Vegas. It's a ballsy move to make. But we're making it. So, yeah, that's the MFL.
Out of business. So why am I building my talent, my production, the venue, everything besides the roster? The roster is last. Why is it last? Because a lot of these promoters, like the GFL and others I won't mention, will post the fighters first when they first open up a league, because they're relying on these fighters. We're relying on ourselves to keep the fighters going. And the fighters are the fuel, but the league is the house. Right now, we're building a house. So when these fighters come to us with loyalty, we're giving them back loyalty. And we're already building up revenue for these fighters via merchandise sales and stuff like that. We're going to do charities, and among the Patreon membership and the Discord and the tips and everything else that they're going to be getting, these fighters are going to be spoiled. So we're building a house over here. And we believe that if we build it, they will come. So before they come over here, we want to make sure that they're comfortable, give them a reason to join.
First and foremost, I always love the concept of interactive in the polls too, especially in today's day and age. I always take it back to like 2006 and 2005 and even 2004. The WWE had a pay-per-view called Taboo Tuesday, then we later go on to Cyber Sunday, where the concept was fans were interactive, you get to vote on the matches, and you get to see a lot of different concepts within that. So you're pretty much doing that and what the early stages of social media were. And now you're really heightening it just also with your business model and your business acumen. You want it to be safe and spectacular. You want to see the fights. You want to see the proper training. So you're really adding on layers and layers and elements of what a lot of people need to see, especially on the combative natured side of things, and really make it fair for everyone. So it's a nice little stand of being the representation of your presentation, so to speak.
Yeah, these fighters are like they'll get signed to these big leagues. Like these influencers will go on and create their own boxing leagues, and then they'll sign like low-level fighters or even like bigger influencers, and they'll put all the work on them to sell the tickets and to sell the pay-per-views and stuff like that. So these guys are like, instead of like struggling and worrying about like, oh, I gotta train, I gotta wake up, I gotta eat clean and lose weight and all that stuff, they're worried about like selling tickets when it's the promoter's job to sell the tickets. So like there's this whole fucking flip-flop. It's all flip-flopped. You know what I mean? Like the business doesn't make any sense. And like just because they're celebrities, they're putting out like where like the fighters are lucky to be on their platform. And our business model is like we're spoiling the fighters because we feel like we're lucky to have them on our platform. So it's totally different. And we're forcing the fans to be interactive because we're developing more and more layers on top of it's going to be like a membership. And on top of this membership, they get access to a Discord, which is like you can go in there for free, or you can be like a VIP member where you get to like talk to the fighters. You get the one-on-one training and stuff like that. We just added that as a layer. We have a fighter that's going to do one-on-one training weekly with the fans and have some of the fighters and the talent join, which is really fucking cool. It's like developing like a family. Like I said, like it's starting to be a cult following with the MFL, and we haven't even had our first event yet. So it's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure. But yeah, we're all about sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say we're all about spoiling the fighters and the fans. That's the biggest thing for us.
Oh, and first of all, don't apologize. I love where you're going because I was going to ask about Jaslyn Alvarez and Jazz and everybody that you promoted there. Great fighter, woman, has pearls of wisdom, fight in her own right. So you're learning from her while also getting the tools that she has to get to see in her fights and her bouts, but also learning that goes a long way. And I think in today's day and age, having the right system, having the right pearls of wisdom really under that net, it's great for people. It's also great for the community because community brings together people. It's a family tight-knit promotion. And that's what you're doing because in today's day and age, like you mentioned, we see how social media is just about this and that. And we got to worry about promotion and this and that. But you also have the thing behind you. If you have the right team and the regimen behind you, it does wonders. And adding a woman like that, who's a badass in her own right, it all really comes together. And it's a nice blend for everybody to really kind of get in tack with, you know?
And yeah, absolutely, man. And I agree. And the world is changing. The world went from like, we used to hang out by like the heaters outside, like a trailer park or something like that. Everybody would like meet outside, like the propane tanks or something like that. And nowadays, all these kids and all, even adults, everybody's hanging out in like Discord. And Discord is a really cool platform where you can do like a bunch of video chats at once. You can do voice chats and you can set up a whole community. So we're taking full advantage of Discord, and that's going to be like the hangout spot for the MFL, for free fans and for VIP fans. But we're definitely going to incentivize the VIP fans. And right now we already have the talent. We're forcing the talent, including myself, to learn Discord because It can be complicated for people who don't know it, but all these kids are using it for video gaming and all this stuff, and we need to take advantage of it. So Discord is going to be one of the biggest platforms where we're making money for everybody.
I mean, even if you look at it like this and how people evolve and revolve, so to speak, the history of just going outside and playing and doing stuff like that. In today's day and age, we're more technologically speaking. You mentioned Discord. Like, I've seen it before. We've all seen it. It's a great community, like you mentioned, for people to talk, do videos and voice calls and everything. But you're taking advantage of your surroundings. And I think what they always say, it's like the old adage trap. If you don't adapt, you perish. So what you're doing is you're adapting and you're getting people on that so people can really become intuitive to what you're doing. And I think not only is that wonderful and it's smart, but I mentioned that you have someone like a Jaslyn Alvarez who's learning with people. You got Casper Jorgensen, who's now the head of your security. So you're incorporating people who have the muscle, who have the mind and stuff, but they're also fighters. So there's another added layer to it. So you're bringing in the right people and you're bringing in the mindset. So it's technologically speaking, it's physically speaking, it's emotionally speaking. So you're really evoking emotions and eliciting reaction all in one.
Yeah, our model is like, we don't want to just sign, like, these guys are talented, of course, but I don't want just talent. I want characters as well. Like, of course, they got a ton of credentials, but you mentioned Casper. The dude is a fucking Viking, like a real life Viking. Like, if you meet him, he speaks like one, he acts like one, he looks like one. He's a tough dude, and he's a real character. And it's in the contract for all these guys, including the ring girls. Everybody I'm signing is going to be in the Discord for the VIP fans to interact with. So he has a whole history behind him of becoming like champions in grappling events all across the world. He was in Brazil training with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He did judo and literally has so many stories. Like, we went out to Korean barbecue and the dude was just talking to me about his worldwide martial arts experience. And I was like, man, this is perfect for the VIP fans in the Discord. Like, there's going to be Q&As and stuff like that. Like, they're going to love this guy. And he's an actor. So he's got a movie experience too. That's actually where I met him, is on an acting gig. So yeah, he's a really cool guy and a great addition to the MFL.
I've always looked at it like this, and we always talk people's involvements, and I'll give another example. Like I mentioned earlier with WWE and the Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday format, it's like when out of all people, and I'll make this advantage for people because we talk about entertainment and the fight capital of the world, but you mentioned being an actor. It's like when WWE had Freddie Prinze Jr. on their writing team, his creative team. I'm like, do you understand? And because people would laugh because, of the movie season, like I know what you did last summer, but I'm like, number one, the guy's a fan. Number two, if you're—
I love that movie.
Me too. But the thing is, if you're accentuating the wrestlers and you're having them take acting class and stuff, who better than the guy who's been there, but also who respects the business? So if you have all those right tools, it's a winning combination. And I think what you're doing with this gentleman right here, and I've seen him, the dude's a brick shit house, to put in the bluntest of terms, like you mentioned, Viking. I like that because it's, again, like you talk about the Q&As and everything, everybody's learning, everybody's adapting, everybody's revolving, and that's what makes things exciting. And I think what you're doing is that proverbial gravitational pull, man, and that's a win-win for everybody, Trap.
Yeah, and speaking of signing, we can also talk about Brandy May that I got now, and that's an official signing. And I'm actually talking to another LFC girl, so fingers crossed for her. But yeah, Brandy is a beast, and probably more about her than I do at this point.
For those who've not seen it, first and foremost, Brandy May is going to be doing color commentating, right? I did see the announcement. Yes. She's going to be doing her thing. Brandy May, she's done things from her adult entertainment work. She's done things with Niche Boutique, her and her business partner, Kim Buck. We get to see a lot what she's done in the bodybuilding world. The woman is so multifaceted. She just came off of 2 great LFC bouts with Bella Inc. and Ali Spoon at LFC 40 and LFC 41, respectively. When you have someone like Brandy, and we mentioned the multifaceted thing, and you've been her up close and personal, speaking of you, with LFC 38, with that happen as a fellow judge. But god dang it, Trap, that woman, a lot of people see her. We mean brick shit house. We mentioned the knowledge, but you have someone like her who also has the ability and the power and the strength to even help women and both men, respectively. Again, winning combination, but it just goes to show a lot of great people that you have in the world of Las Vegas, man.
I chose her for a couple good reasons. Her voice, very sexy, very smart, beautiful. Obviously, she's a character, and she's got hell of experience in the business, in the industry. She gets entertainment, she gets pro wrestling, she gets fighting. She's tough.
Painted flesh, muscle, and bone. Flawless fate carved in stone. No weight class, dog eat dog. No clean hits, just a fog. Fans call shots from the stands. Chaos reigns, brutal demands. No rounds, just the screams. In this ring, shatter their dreams. Clashing titans, no reprieve. Only fight what you believe. Hunger haunts you to achieve. Break them down, never leave. War cry echoes through.
And for my other color commentator, or for my other play-by-play guy, my play-by-play guy has a lot of energy. He's another pro wrestling character type that I signed, and we needed somebody with strength to settle him down. So we got somebody to keep him in check, and Brandy May is definitely going to play that role. Speaking of him, his name is Logan Summit. We signed him. He's the official play-by-play guy. He's I can't even begin to list his credentials, but he's been around since the 80s in pro wrestling. Literally worked for big places like OVW, and I don't want to misrepresent his credentials, but I'll just say that he's got crazy experience in the pro wrestling industry. And I brought him out to an LFC event to let him check it out too, and he became a fan. So he's hip.
I believe I remember him. I believe he was the one that yelled, and you can hear him in the crowd at LFC 38. I remember him. Okay.
Yeah, he was trying to make himself present for sure.
June 27th, Fight Game History. You get to decide who wins and how much money they make. On the dotted line, you see my Logan Hancock. Don't look too hard or you might go blind. Are you ready? Because it's time to put the kids to bed and wake up the neighbors, because it is time for the Main Fight League to shine. Now let's get down to the MFL beatdown. Somebody better get me a Danish.
We're out of Danish.
I'm out of Danish? You better get on your bike. It's a long drive to Denmark.
But we're out of Danish.
Well, what I love about that too as well is you mentioned a company like OVW, which was the developmental brand for the WWE for many, many years, and isn't even doing their own thing now, respectively. But when you have a character like that, it's like when you look in the 80s, like when you had people like the Grand Wizard and the classy Freddie Blassies of the world, and how many people can invoke that emotion, not with commentary and managing. So it fits, and you have that nice little balance with him and Brandy. So, I mean, it fits. It's like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon. Like it all works. It works.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like I always loved my favorite color I'm sure I'm not alone on this. I'm an Attitude Era kid.
Yes.
And when you get Jerry Lawler and
Jim
Ross together, like those two, you don't need anybody else. Those two were the perfect balance, the way they argued back and forth. So I'm gonna encourage that type of play with these guys, and I think they're going to fit that role perfectly, because I don't know, I just think that they're going to bounce off each other, and we're going to be doing like cool like videos for YouTube and stuff. We got a monetized channel, fully monetized, and all the proceeds of that is also going to the talent, which is something completely new. It's going to the talent, the fighters. All they have to do is send in the videos. We have an editor that works on it. They're going to post it. Whatever revenue it gets, split up through the talent and the fighters. So these guys are going to get paid through so many different revenue streams. And but anyways, we're going to do like we're going to like test out Discord by having like a Discord meeting call between all the talent, and then we're going to post that video up on the YouTube, and that's going to be pretty interesting, seeing us all the talent interact together. So I got the talent that I'm signing right now, which is like the color commentators, the ring girls, the play-by-play guy, the referee, the announcer, stuff like that, and security. And the roster's coming next month. We're scouting at the end of this month and at the beginning of next month, and the roster is probably going to be announced in the middle of that month, and that's when, in the middle of April, and that's when we're going to announce the Discord, launch the Discord. public to all the fans and everybody, so that way they can interact with the fighters, the talent, and everything at the same time, and get the hype ready to go.
I think what I love about it too, as well, is you even, and I've seen a lot of stuff for those who've not followed Trap on Instagram and everything. You should, because I got to say, you're always probably one of the best doggone people to follow just for your entertainment and just everything that you do with your savviness, so to speak, Mr. Gambino. But my friend, I got to put this into the forefront, man. You see, like, you've been to these UFC shows, you've been to a lot of the fight capital of the world in Las Vegas and what you get to see. So you're also kind of taking your experience. I mean, you've seen the influencers like the Logan Pauls and everybody that's out there. So you're taking what you see there, but you're incorporating yourself and adding your own little flavor to it, and also your mix of what you want to do. So you take your visions from everything, you know what I'm saying? And I've always admired this about you. With what we have with Made Fight League, the creativity, I did want to ask you about the name Made in itself. Number one, Made. Again, talk about what it stands for, because there's meaning in everything from the marketing standpoint. But also, number two, if there's anything that it is, like self-made, the DIY, do-it-yourself mentality, there's a lot that goes into it, man. It's all in a name, Trap.
Yeah, absolutely. I chose Made because it was literally like in 2014, it was our first like brand sponsorship that we decided to just throw on t-shirts and sponsor fighters with. And we called it Made, Connected, Not Affiliated. And that was just like a slogan to be like these fighters are like made, like they're part of the mafia or something, like a cool, like a lingo like that. It was like a mafia thing. And every time we sent a fighter a t-shirt, we'd be like, look, this fighter got made. Like it was back in the day, there was a ton of people taking advantage of sponsorship before the UFC sold to Reebok. And it was really, really cool to get your brand. It was easier to get your brand on the UFC and Invicta and all these other places. And it didn't cost as much money as people would think. So normal fans like me found out about it and would take advantage and use some money to get our brands out there, even if we weren't selling anything. And I wasn't selling anything at all, not even t-shirts. The only thing I had was just stuff that I gave away to the fighters. And MADE stands for Martial Arts Determines Everything. I'm a big martial arts fan, and it's my way of saying fighting solves everything without being so controversial about it. But martial arts determines everything, and our first sponsorship was actually Tanya Evinger back in Invicta in 2014, and we sponsored her for a couple fights, including when she won the championship for Invicta. And then it kind of just like died out. We didn't really think anything of it because you don't make money when you just sponsor fighters and you don't really promote anything and you don't have anything to sell. So how are you going to make any money? I just did it as a fan to get my brand out there, and it was cool, and it got me some connections, and then those connections led to me more connections, and then more training, and then eventually Las Vegas, and then eventually I wanted like my own t-shirt company and stuff like that. So it all like led to this, which is really crazy because during that time I ended up fighting MMA myself and doing jiu-jitsu and boxing and all that other shit. And like, I did the influencer fighting, and I found out like behind the scenes what's actually going on. And that whole time, unintentionally, I'm almost like behind enemy lines. You know what I mean? Like they don't know that they're building a monster. The way that I'm learning behind, like I'm like, oh man, like when I went to Florida, I'm training behind a sheet on top of a giant LeBron James head statue, and like there's other fighters like training on his knee and stuff like that. Like there was like a giant statue laid in the back of like a park, like it was. And this is like a nicer place that these fighters train. It's just the abuse that these people go through. I witnessed it through this whole journey. And like you said, I went to the UFC events. I went through the Tough Enough, and I seen all this. And I don't like a lot of what I see. And I feel like it needs to be changed. I don't like that we're looking at influencers above the fighters. We're looking at the promoters above the fighters. And I don't even like that we're looking at the brand above the fighters. I feel like the fighters built the influencers. They built the brand. They're the reason the influencers are there. They're the reason the promoters are rich. They're the reason that the brand is powerful. So we should spoil the fucking fighters, and that's what I want to do.
No, I agree. And what I like about everything that you put into fruition there, I've always said this, and I think you could concur with me on these sentiments. You look at life in itself, it's an art form. We're all applying our crafts, and these fighters are just applying their crafts in amazing fashion. Everything's an art form. It's all about the right lens that you see it through and how you see it through with these fighters, them doing their thing, them putting the work in, and martial arts, determines everything, like you mentioned with the brand name. It's their discipline, it's their sacrifice, it's their acumen, it's their regimen all into one. So you're servicing and also not only spoiling them, but you're helping them say, hey, this is you. I want you. This is you're here. We're going to treat you like here. So it works. And it really, like we mentioned, goes into different layers and everything for the recipe for success. But it's all about you and your focus and your gravitational pull, and your thing is about that fighter. And it sets everything for what people want to do and watch the product as a whole.
And, as a pro wrestling fan yourself, you and me both like storylines, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's something you get in the UFC. And the reason you get that in the UFC is because these guys are under contract and they're not bouncing around from fight league to fight league. And the problem with these influencer boxers and these boxers in general is they're bouncing from fight league to fight league. These lower level guys that I'm trying to sign and build up. Excuse me. And you don't get the stories and the characters. Like, you can't follow their characters if they're fighting on like the CFL this month, the FFL next month, the GFL this month. Like, it doesn't make any sense. They're not developing storylines. They're not developing relationships, bad or good. I like storylines. So in our contract, it's not like they have to stay with us, but we're incentivizing them to be with us and stay with us because we're building a home for them where they can get paid monthly. And there's no other league in the world that does that. And the more that they interact with our league, the more our league promotes them. And it's different. It's so different because we're forcing everybody to interact together. And the more that we push each other, the more that we all make. And it's not like an MLM where we have to recruit people or anything like that. Like, it's literally built on fighting and fans. And it's a model that's when I explained it to my wife, she's like, I can't believe that people haven't done this before. Like, it's almost like a duh thing. But they haven't done it because, first of all, you need to have passion. You need to be mad. You need to have character, because a lot of these people are going to want to shut it down. A lot of these big promoters who are making a lot of money off of free fighting are not going to like what I'm doing. They're already trying to shut it down. So you have to want to fight against that. You have to be, you can't be scared. You have to be strong. You have to be a fighter yourself. And you have to give up a lot. Like, I'm sacrificing my fight career for this. Like, there's not going to be a promoter in the world that's going to be like, yeah, let this guy fight, this loudmouth guy who wants fighters to get paid more. Like, let's put him on the card. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I've had promoters literally comment on my thing like, this is burning bridges between us because I can't legally pay amateur fighters. They use that as an excuse and as a loophole. I was paid as an amateur fighter. You can sponsor these guys. You can give them a per diem. You can set them up with ways like I am. There's ways to get these guys compensated. They just refuse to do it because it's hard.
First of all, with your storytelling, I got to mention this because everything that you said goes along with what I'm about to mention. And I'm glad that you brought up how everything comes into fruition, how you mentioned Ashley and you talking about everything coming to fruition in that front. I look at it like this, Trap. I think you'll appreciate where I'm going with this. WWE now has their ID program, which stands for Independent Development. So their ID program, you get to see their Evolve show, which is now on Tubi. So there's talents that are from the indies, but you're also incorporating talent who are veterans who've not been on NXT television, but they're in Evolve. And you also have talent from the indies who WWE's not saying you can't do the indies, but if you go to Evolve, you get to learn how to get into the WWE model and the WWE mantra, as well as showcasing here's our storylines, here's the veterans you can work with. There's a lot of systems there. So I kind of equate it to like the WWE ID program where you're the superstar, you get paid. It doesn't mean that you can't do the indies, but here's what we incentivize and here what our program is to get to that next level of becoming a WWE superstar. So you're independently developing people, but also at the same same time too, you're having everybody work together without burning bridges. So I look at it as a stance too like that. You're really doing a developmental program, but also doing something that can develop and heighten what a business should be and get to that next level.
Yeah, and a lot of these fighters have problems with promoting themselves, which is another thing that sucks. Like when the influencers put them on contract and that's their job to promote, where they have like 1,000 followers. How are they going to sell like more than 100? It's hard to sell 5 tickets. Like you got to pull people's teeth to sell tickets nowadays. And if they have 1,000 followers, how are you going to sell any tickets at all? So one cool thing, you spoke of development, is the MFL is going to be teaching these fighters behind the scenes how to promote themselves. And we're doing stuff like that daily, weekly, holding Zoom classes and stuff like that for these fighters. They're getting so much more than just signing and being like, oh, congratulations, we got this cool. You come to Vegas and you get to fight on this cool venue. Like, okay, like that's cool for me. That shouldn't be cool for them. You know what I mean? And that's usually what they get. They usually get like, oh, congratulations, you're on this big boxing event. Make sure that you sell this many tickets or I'm going to take you off the card. That it's insane. So yeah, I just actually was scrolling through Tubi and I saw that and I was wondering what that was. Now I'm gonna have to check that out because I had no idea. Like I said, I'm an Attitude Era kid, so I'm kind of out the loop. But now that I've seen that they're bringing back like the PG era is like officially over with and stuff like that, I gotta check it out. And John Cena's like a bad guy now, right?
Yes, John Cena is now aligned with The Rock. He's a heel for the first time in 22 years. John Cena's a heel. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, I got to check that out.
But if you're on Tubi, definitely check out WWE.
Oh, man, I'm obsessed with Tubi. It used to be something to make fun of. It used to be like a crackle. You remember that?
Yes.
When you said like Tubi, people would be looking at you like, Tubi? Now, dude, my TV does not go off of Tubi. In my bedroom, Tubi is the dopest because it just stays playing stuff. And like sometimes you'll wake up to like the coolest movies that you didn't even know were on there.
It's like those plots where you've never seen these movies and it's only on Tubi and like there's a plot of there's this one guy, I forgot the influencer on Instagram. He's like, this is what they play on Tubi, and it's that scene with the girl's like, you've been sucking his dick, and she's like, yes. Like that type of movie. I forgot what movie it's from, but
yeah, sometimes you wake up to weird shit.
Like weird shit. But yeah, no, I concur with you. And I mean, I look at it like this, like that's the beautiful part about it. It's like if you're on a wrestling show or on a fight where you're just like, oh, I got invited to fight, that means I'm a star. No, there's more to it than just being on the card. There's different traits and everything that you have to learn. So having them develop how to promote themselves, that goes a long way. It's not just because, oh, I was on this, I've made it, so to speak. You haven't made it. You have an opportunity. Now you have to make the most of that opportunity and get over here, man. That's what it is. I've
learned that the hard way a couple times where I thought like, oh, I got this big TV show, or oh, I got this big fight. Like I finally made it. Like I got my foot in the door. Now everything's going to be downhill. No. Like you got to take advantage. Like if you go on Dr. Phil and you don't say, catch me outside, how about that? Then people are going to not give a shit about your show. You know what I mean? I should have, if I would have just got up and tackled Dr. Phil, whether I went to jail or not, I would have made TV history. Like you have to take advantage. Like Eminem said, seize the moment. You know what I mean? Like there's so many times where I'm like, oh man, I should have acted out. I should have been crazier and stuff. And that's the world that we live in nowadays. And I always tell people that you can have a list of credentials on your IMDb like I do, and nobody might know your name. Or you could stream yourself on YouTube getting kicked out of a Walmart, and now all of a sudden you're world famous. That's the world we live in nowadays.
I agree. I mean, you mentioned Eminem. I look at it like this. When he was starting out and you had the first album, the Slim Shady LP in 99, one of his most famous moments was when he was on TRL with Mark Wahlberg, and him and Carson Daly and Mark Wahlberg. Let's all stand around and a big funky bunch. And then Mark Wahlberg's looking at him like, I'm going to beat your fucking ass because of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And that stands out right there because everyone's like, I don't give a fuck. That's fucking Marky Mark. I don't give a crap. Mark Wahlberg. Look at this actor in the film with George Clooney. No, it's fucking Marky Mark for God's sake.
That's hilarious. Gotta love the old Eminem.
Absolutely, but that's what you have to do nowadays. And I look at it from a stance too. It's not really hurting. You're just amplifying yourself. And I've said that about you with your character and your promo work and what you do. You're amplifying yourself. But I think as you learned, as we all learn in this thing that we call life, we're constantly adapting, we're constantly growing. You never stop learning. And that's the best part of it, business and in ring.
Yeah, and once you do, that's when you hit a plateau. And I see a lot of these guys that like they evolve a lot, and then all of a sudden they stop learning. And that's something that I'm not doing. Like even during this whole business process, I'm learning. Like I was always a business guy, but more like a handshake business guy. Like I'm an old school like Italian guy. Like I am not into paperwork and all that shit and all this taxes and business IDs, and I had to learn all that. I had to learn the LLC stuff and all this stuff, and this is all new to me, and I'm still learning, and I'm still making mistakes, but I'm recognizing that I'm making these mistakes, and I feel like that's what's making me a good CEO, because I'm not one of these guys who are like, yeah, I've been a CEO of this company and that company, and I'm successful, so I know what I'm doing. Like I am going into a lot of this blind, other than passion and respect for the sport and knowledge of the sport. And when it comes to the business side of things, I have a lot of people helping me out, and I'm thankful for that.
Oh, as it should. And I mean, you don't procrastinate, and you have the right people in your ears and your surroundings. I mean, from the business side of things, I understand the Italian mindset and just the handshake and not being, it's like, I mean, you're not to the point of Ice Cube and Lynch Mob fucking up, Interscope Records after that whole thing, and you're smashing the friggin', records off the wall. No, but at the same time too, you do grasp it into the point of where it's just like, okay, this is how it is and this is how it should be. So you take that in, but also at the same time too, a lot of people can really follow that, because at the end of the day too, everybody wants to do something. Everybody wants to be that thing. In a day and age of content creation, of how you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to act, if you're not authentic, I'll be honest with you, if you're not authentic, you're nothing. I always have to put this, authenticity and staying humble goes a long way. It really does.
Yeah, and you have to learn from your mistakes and learn when you're going to make a mistake. Like, for example, the other week I was close to signing a deal for a venue, and I was so excited for it. It was a beautiful venue, but it was a handshake deal. And I was talking to my investors, and they were like, look, man, like as much as you want this, we can't do any handshake deals over here. It's Las Vegas. It's the fight capital of the world. There's going to be a lot of people on your ass. We have to have like an agreement and all this other stuff. And so the deal fell through because of that. And I missed a good venue, but at the same time, I also could have saved my ass from a big risk. You know what I mean? And that's the things that you can't go in here alone, and you can't go blind. You have to have people to tell you like, hey man, I'm watching your back. So I'm working together with a solid team, and we're going to do things really smart, and there's not going to be any handshake deals anymore. And I'm not learning the hard way with the MFL. So we're going to make sure we're going to be very safe and strategic.
I gotta say, with this and all the deals you're making, one thing I gotta mention, man, I gotta say, when your first show does happen and pay-per-view does happen, that's gonna be really exciting to see. Like for me, not just everything that you're starting with that I love, and I think you're doing it the great way, like we have when we mentioned today's forum. But dude, I can't wait till that pay-per-view comes, man. So what are y'all thinking about pay-per-view wise, or what are you thinking of going that direction, man?
So I signed a deal with payperview.millions.co, and they are helping us out insanely. Like their business model is a lot like ours, where they don't expect us to do all the work. We work together. So for example, I hit them up and I say, hey, I need a bunch of interviews. They book my interviews for me. Not only do they book my interviews, they'll chop up my interviews and clip them, send me the clips and say, hey, are these good clips? If so, we'll post them up, and then we'll tag them, and then we'll post them to our 67,000 followers. And those 67,000 followers are fight fans, and they're going to hear your business model. And if they like it, they'll follow you. So we've been blowing up a lot because of millions.co, and they're streaming worldwide, and they're selling our merchandise worldwide. Our merchandise is already selling in the UK and here in Las Vegas as well. And I just got my t-shirt today, actually. And I'm super excited because all the merchandise is going 100% to the fighters as well. The pay-per-view sales is coming to the league. So the fighters don't have to worry about pumping the pay-per-view sales or they're going to get taken off the card or some crazy mess like that. They don't have to worry about that stupid stuff. They worry about fighting. That's it. That's what they should do. They're fighters. We also pump the merchandise sales for them to get paid because that's another split. That's another revenue for the fighters. So they're getting paid through the YouTube, the Discord /Patreon /voting and these guys are going to be tipping. You know how Patreon works and fans work. They're going to be tipping for all kinds of stuff and merchandise. So even if the shirt says MFL, doesn't say any fighter's name on it, no matter what, if that fighter signed to the MFL, they get a percentage of that t-shirt sale. So these guys are going to stay paid. And the more fans that we gain, and they're incentivized to get more fans, and the fans are going to be incentivized to have control over the league because they're the ones that's controlling the fights, the matchups, and everything. So it's like the perfect business model for the fans and the fighters, and everybody's going to be working together, and it's going to be a crazy evolutionary cultish league. The MFL is going to be crazy.
Well, I got to say, we've always made the joke on the popular culture side of things about, we can't talk about Fight Club, but we're going to be talking about this goddamn thing over here being the MFL. And Trap, I got to ask you, and I love asking this question as well, because you've hit a lot of pearls of wisdom in today's forum and just in life as your own, my dear friend. But for someone who wants to be in your shoes, much like we're doing now with the Made Fight League, who wants to learn about the business, if you will, and just everything that goes into fruition, what advice would you give them? Who even wants to start a combative nature there in overall fight league, so to speak, in this business model and acting? What advice would you give them, Trap, being someone who's known about it yourself?
One of the biggest things that's helped me going through my head, I put it through my head every day. I don't know where I seen it, but somebody was like, it was like a TikTok or a YouTube video, you're just scrolling, doom scrolling as they call it. And I seen somebody say, like, if you think about something, just do it. Like this guy was like, he wanted to sell. Oh, I remember what it was. He was selling dried frozen fruit or something like that. And he was just like freezing fruit, putting it in a baggie and selling it for like $10 a bag. And he was like, I just thought of doing it. And like people thought I was crazy for doing it. Like, why would people buy fruit? And he was like, I don't know, I'm just going to make it look fancy and call it like luxurious fruit and sell it. And he just did it. Like sometimes people just do things, like they just make a t-shirt and they put a cool design on it. Next thing you know, they're millionaires. Like, it's going to sound stupid because it's hard. And you grow up in a society where you're told to, like, do the normal things, and anything abnormal is stupid and you get put down because of it. But just do it. And as much as you're gonna like not believe in yourself when you're doing it, you have to trick yourself into believing in yourself, because everybody's going to be talking trash about you if they know that you're doing it, if you can't keep it a secret. So yeah, I would say just do it. If like that Shia LaBeouf where he's like, just do it. Yeah, literally, man. Like that is real. And from somebody who came from absolutely nothing, like it's almost to the point where I'm sick of saying it. I came from like the literal bottom of the bottom. I was homeless, 465 pounds, morbidly obese, dropped out of high school, was in jail as a kid. My parents weren't rich. I had no money. I didn't have a license. I didn't even have a GED. The bottom of the bottom. I took that, came to Las Vegas, risked everything, lost all the weight. I'm 300 pounds now, which is insane. I became a CEO of a company, became a fighter. And just because I said fuck it and did it and didn't believe in everybody telling me that I couldn't.
I look at it like this, and I'll put some parallels into this. So there was a pastor, T.D. Jakes, who's talked about this, and I've always loved this quote because it's out there on social media. It's been viral. He talks about stop chasing people who are leaving. So these are people that may have doubted you or forsook you. Let them go, because there's going to be people in your life on your journey that are not going to see the vision that you have for yourself and where you want to go, and they'll say whatever they want to pop up out. It's all noise, but it's just like, let them go. Don't stop chasing after these people. If they don't agree with you or they don't see your vision, just let them go. But also at the same time, too, on the other side of the coin, I look at it like this. We mentioned Ice Cube in the earlier stages of the show. He had an influential song with a gentleman by the name of Crazy Bone, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Until We Rich. One of the integral parts of that song was get your mind right, get your grind right. We got to keep going. So if you have your mind right and your grind right, you could succeed and achieve and do what you want to do in this thing that we call life. But also at the same time, too, if people don't see your vision, let them go. But also at the same time, too, you know your vision, you know your worth, and that drives you, and that really gets you on the right path. I think it's all about really staying par for the course, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite songs, and I'm gonna have that song in my head now. I gotta look it up now to put it on my workout playlist. I forgot about that one.
It's a classic, man. I think it's all about our surroundings. We can take a lot from our surroundings, and we can take a lot from people. And we can take a lot from this one over here, Mr. Trap Gambino. And Trap, I will say this before we close this out. You, my friend, are always a delight and a pleasure to speak with, my friend. You are one of my dear friends, and I appreciate every time you come on the show. You're more than welcome back.
Absolutely, brother. You're one of my favorite interviewers because a lot of these guys just go on here and they'll be like, all right, I know you're doing this, so tell me about that. It's like you actually do your research. You care about the people that you're interviewing. So I always appreciate talking to you, brother. It's always a good time. Thank you.
You're very welcome. The feeling is mutual. And before we close this out, so if you go to Mike Larkin 92, subscribe to the YouTube channel, has the previous interviews with Trap Gambino and so many people on the LFC front. The links to both LFC and the Made Fight League will be in the description behind this fine audio. So Trap, floor is yours. Where can we follow you? Go right ahead, sir.
So instead of following me, you can follow the Made Fight League at Made Fight League at Made Fight League on IG. Sorry, we're developing a bunch of social medias right now. So TikTok, YouTube, but IG is the one where we're announcing everything for now. So yeah, at Made Fight League on Instagram. Follow us, support the fighters. It's not about me anymore. Now it's about the community. Now it's about the fans. Now it's about the fighters. So it feels a lot better to promote because I'm a humble guy and I don't like saying, follow me. I'm Trap Daddy. I'm going to go in here and knock this guy out. It feels a lot better to say, follow these guys because they deserve it. I've been watching them struggle for a long time. They need help. They need taken out of the hole that they've been put in for years now, and it's our job to do it. So we're working together and we can do it together.
Beautifully and eloquently said. Those links will be in the description. And like I said, you have a great community and just a great drive. And I cannot wait to see this continue to flourish and continue to blossom as Made Fight League will do. And folks, if you want to check out this son of a gun causing controversy, he did not have no glass in his hand, or maybe he did. Check out LFC 38 Angels and Little Devils with Trap Gambino.
A hater taking a look at his right there, slam off the side. The combination work. And
what is going on here?
I saw Bella Madison reach back and grab something from a table, it appeared. Is she hiding something behind her right leg? I'm struggling to see her. She reached back and grabbed something. She's training on Riley Jade right now. Where's the referee at? Because I believe I see Trap Gambino. Oh! My goodness!
She smashed the glass on her head.
And Miss Brandy May as the judges, and Trap's many appearances at LFC from the LFCfights.com on the VIP section, and his many things, because he's a character and he's a hell of a son of a gun. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say within this fine program, life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are, and that makes life beautiful in its own right. So Trap Gambino, I appreciate you. I love you, my brother. And do you have any final words for the people before we close this thing out?
Much love, man. I appreciate you having me on the platform. It's always a blast.
For Trap Gambino, my name is Mike Larkin. We will see you in the next edition of the LFC Podcast. Take care, everyone.
kick some